think that is true for all of us. Even if you didn't have a traumatic experience, there's constant stuff from our past that is impacting how we parent now. One thing is to realize that even your belief system and your value system may not be authentic. It may be given to you by fear, it may be given to you by previous experience, expectation of others today, family systems. So it's very hard for us to really know how we want to be in our relationship with others, in particular our kids. There's a concept in psychology, so this is not about mindful parent, but more about just general, of ghosts in the nursery. And it's exactly what Chantal was talking about, is given whatever traumatic experience happened in childhood for you, and it may have been dormant, like it wasn't a problem in other relationships. The moment you have a kid, guess what? It gets activated. And we unconsciously move towards repeating it, like doing the same things that was done to us, or we move unconsciously towards trying to prevent it, but we go overboard, and it's not what a child's experience is. And then what we do then, if this process goes unconscious, we will put in a child what was done to us somehow. So it is really hard to be aware why we're doing what we're doing, or even why we believe what we believe. And I'll give you a really quick example. So my mom and dad divorced when I was 4, and then at that moment, my whole life got uprooted. She moved back to Brazil, because we were in the States at the time. And then she moved back to the States. She was the sole provider, so she had to go work full time. And we lived with my grandmother, and my grandmother was the caregiver at that point. And lots of stuff happened because of that. But when the moment I got pregnant, I called my mom and asked her to move in with me. I knew that wouldn't work. We both roosters, right? So I'm inviting chaos in my life, right? Love my mom, but her and I in the same household, not a good thing. And I was already a psychologist. I didn't even question and pause and say, wait a minute, why do I want this? I didn't. I was just replicating my childhood. My ghost in the nursery got reactivated, right? So, I couldn't conceive raising my child when millions of women raise their child without the mother being there, right? So, thinking about those things. I think the other thing, Chantal, is when that anxiety, when it's more of a traumatic experience, we creating fear for our child, right? They're safer. They're not going through what you went through. But it's almost like you can't stop. It's unnecessary, right? So how to get unstuck? So when me and my husband discuss, we're writing a book. So we discuss parenting. All the work is ourselves. Once we're well, guess what? Our child is well. Healthy boundaries, autonomy, everything comes out of us being well and not imposing on our child. Helicopter parenting, you don't want to do that. It's more work for you. We do it because we don't know any other way of being, because there's something bothering us. So the mindfulness piece is not only about what we're doing to our child, but mindfulness to myself. So how do I create a space of love, connection, safety for me, so I don't have to act out of my fears, right? And it's very hard. I mean, I'm a psychologist. I'm very aware. I've been practicing mindfulness for 15 years. And once in a while, I have my word vomit, and I can see the damage in my daughter's eyes when this comes out, right? And it's painful for me, it's painful for her. And I'm like, where did that came from? There's this monster inside of me that said something so mean and critical, and that's not who I am. I don't do that to other people, but I do it to my child, the most precious, most important thing in my life. You see.
Protect them and teach them these things, but you're really more damaging them.
Yes.
So we are in a new home, and we don't have windows treatments yet.
Yeah.
And so I'm constantly, I don't know if it's my Hispanic culture or what, but I'm taught you hide yourself all the time. So, and then my husband, who's just, he'll walk around and out of the shower naked, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then so my daughter, I'm getting her ready for school, and I'm always like, stay away from the windows, go to the bathroom, like hide. And she's like, Mommy, stop doing that because now I'm scared that someone's there, like looking like this. And I'm like, oh, I'm traumatizing her because my over heightened awareness of danger and always think about where there's perverts.
Yes.
You know, like it's so engraved in me because of my parents. My mother experienced sexual assault and abuse.
Yes. So you had trauma from her, and then you had your own experiences and edged that, and then now
I'm like,
she can be totally devoid of trauma. You protect her, but then she's traumatized by the messages that we've been giving and the fear that we have, that we carry, right? So the work is internal. I mean, really, I can't say that enough. The work is internal. And then the other piece that I think is important is once we cause damage, to own it. We don't have to be perfect. You know, if we're crying upset because we had a fight with the husband and the child comes and asks, are you okay? Don't say you're okay. You're not. They know it. Because if you say, no, mommy is okay, you think you're protecting the child, while you're telling her, your awareness is wrong. Don't trust your emotions. Don't trust your feeling, because I'm telling you you're wrong. So it sets them up for failure, like in so many ways. So be real. Like, no, I'm struggling right now. I am sad. I am going to be okay. I'm not okay now. So you don't want them caretaking for you, but be honest. Don't tell them they're wrong. They're very perceptive, and guess what? They're 100% right. And if you're not aware and you think they're wrong, then you say, like, when my daughter's very perceptive, and she goes, Mama, you're mad at me. And I'm like, no. And then 30 minutes like, Mama, you mad at me? And I finally said, okay, I can't deny it. I don't feel mad at her. I said, why are you asking if I'm mad at you? She goes, because when you are upset, you have this crease in your forehead. And you have that crease right now. And then I go, okay, let me check in with myself. Oh, I'm worried about taxes. This is what is in my mind. So I'm not upset with you. And I'm pretty honest, and I'm going to curse now, so you can bleep that. And I said, I also have a resting bitch face. And that's what you think, even though it's because I'm stuck with something in my mind, not because you are here with me. And she goes, oh, okay. And then she goes, and Mom, you also sometimes have a bitch tone. I was like, right. So even though I wasn't aware that I was having that face, she knew something, and I trusted that she knew something. Trust them. They're way better than us at being present. They're already mindful. They're already always present. We are not. So don't deny that, because that's the best gift you can give them, to trust their feelings and know that they know something is going on. You don't need to go in details of what the problem is, none of that. But own that they know. And there is an opportunity to get to know each other, have a dialogue, right? Explain, not put it on them that my bitch face lives because I always had it, not because of her, right? Does that make sense? Is that helpful? Right. And I think really owning my behaviors is much more healing than not making the mistake to begin with. Because I will make the mistake. I'm not perfect, right? So I have a very critical, judgmental self that shows up for me, and it shows up to my daughter, even though it's not at her, because I channel my grandmother. She was German, very critical. Everything got to be a certain way. And it was never good enough, right? Oh, you are so adorable and cute. Look at that face. Hi. What you doing? Huh?
He's like, what is that?
And so my daughter took a few days to take a bath, so there was a ring around the bathtub. And anytime I feel like a maid, my grandmother comes out. Anytime I feel sorry for myself, my grandmother comes out. I get harsh at other people because I'm mad at them making me be a maid. But nobody's making me be a maid. I'm doing it to myself. And then my daughter went to take another bath, and then she came out of the shower and looked at me, totally innocent. Hey, Mom, there's a ring around the bathtub. And the maid expectation showed up, right? And I go, yeah, who do you think put it there? I mean, really, early uncalled for, It's all about me feeling not validated and feeling overworked, right? Nothing to do with her. In that moment, I could see her eyeballs, right? And then later I go, explain. I channel my grandmother when I'm feeling like this. I don't want you to internalize the message. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not doing anything wrong. This is me. And sometimes I'm aware of her, and sometimes I'm not. So when I'm not, can you tell me? Can you tell me, hey, I see your grandmother coming out, right? So I can work on that. And you know what came out of it? She started being more aware of the extra work when she doesn't do something. I didn't have to tell her to do anything. She did it herself. I said, Mom, I want to be more responsible. I feel that I'm not helping you enough. Because now she understood how I feel, but it was no blaming, right? It was all me. I owned 100% of that response. And we're not going to be perfect. We are emotional beings. You know, we overwork, undervalued, right? And our kids are way more capable than we think to. When we're doing the helicopter thing, we actually denying them the experience of growing. And then later when they don't do things, we're mad at them. We didn't let them do it to begin with, right? What's that?
It's a puppy.
Really? What is it doing? Yeah. So, any questions or any thoughts about that? How is that hitting? Like, does it feel like that for you?
I missed what you said about what did you tell your daughter to get her to realize? I know you were saying that you
Yeah.
felt like your grandmother.
Right.
Like,
Like,
what was the way that you told her afterwards when you?
it's like when I'm feeling sorry for myself and I'm feeling like a maid. Like, I feel sorry.
You
I feel
explained that to her?
yes, and I feel like a maid. It's not real. I overdo everything and then I expect you guys to step up, right? So it's my thing, and then I feel sorry for myself, and then this critical part comes out, which is called my grandmother. Right? Yeah, I explained to her. She's 12, you know, at the time. She was 12 at the time, and she totally got it. I said, "Wow, it was helpful to know how you feel," you know. And again, not how I feel when I'm mad at her, but later when I'm calm and I'm explaining and owning, 100% owning my feelings, my thoughts, my reactions, and my history. But now she knows my history, right? So it's easier for her to say, oh, this is not me, even though I'm feeling shame. Because when I did that for the club, she felt shame. And she felt broken, and she felt dirty. I don't want that message for my daughter. Heck no, right? But that's what's, we're constantly giving messages, unfortunately.
That's good though, just to explain why
Yes.
you imparted that from your grandmother and what, you know.
Yes.
I've
Yes.
been given a lot from my mom.
Yes.
It would be good to explain that to my daughter too, especially with like, I mean, how young I don't want to like scare her, but I want her to understand the reality of this world and understand like it is, you know, dangerous for girls, but also like not implant that fear in
Right.
her.
I have never tried danger, none of that. We live in Sheridan, the likelihood they're more safe than any place else, because I lived in big cities, so I know the difference, right? So the fear never helps them be prepared for danger. The fear only makes them more vulnerable to danger. Yeah. There's no way fear is going to help her be ready. Because you can be all ready and know it's coming and you still are preyed upon. Now, trust and comfortableness makes her be able to tell you. The best protector is her trusting her feelings. So if you don't deny the reality that she's observing, she goes something. I never taught my daughter stranger danger, and one thing that was horrified to me, because I hear the stories, right? I know I don't trust any man. I don't care how good they are. I don't care if they were amazing to me. I don't trust priests. I don't trust anybody because of the work I do, right? But I never tried to build that on her, and she was very social. And she was in that age that she was 3 and 4. When she hugged people, she was right on their crotch, right? Like, oh, that inside of me was like, and she hugged everybody. And I felt, oh my gosh, she's too trusting, something bad's gonna happen. My goal is to get her to 18 without any sexual abuse. That's my goal. 18, I don't know, I can't protect her anymore, but right, but not to give her the fear. And then it was interesting, I had this guy, he was an older man, he was a handyman that was helping us fix our house. And he was very friendly, I liked him, I didn't have any vibes, right? She never hugged him. She was 4, she was 3. She never she hugged every stranger. She would go around restaurants hugging people.
I have heard that about her.
Right, she's extremely social.
I was like, she's so sweet.
She would never hug him. The other thing that we help to prevent her being harmed in the future is, if you have a brother, uncle, whatever, don't tell her, go hug so-and-so. Never. You'd let her do what he or she wants to do. Because what you're saying is, trust your instincts. Trust your preferences. You have the right not to hug someone that you don't feel like hugging. Never, never. Because then, so those are the messages that help protect her most than fear, right?
Hear her inner voice.
Yes.
Confidential,
Yes.
present.
Yes.
And that's like what we were talking about earlier with the allowing them to say no. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. To this day, we started at age 2, and now we ask permission to enter her room. Always.
When she realized that you were the wrong person, her face changed.
See, she knows, right? Not my mommy. They're very, very wise. So the reason for that, no matter how I need the laundry, it's something I'm doing for her. It's her room. What I'm teaching is your boundaries. If anybody crosses, it feels wrong. If my mom and my dad ask to enter my room and somebody else gets too close, I know I have the right to say stop. So everything means something that you don't realize it means deeper. So those are the things that are really, really helpful to protect our kids. But that's hard. I mean, all this stuff is not easy. And really, if my husband wasn't in my life, I would have royally screwed up my daughter. Royally. I know for a fact, there's lots of things he said, no, we gotta let her be. And have you guys ever seen, there is a show in Netflix called Old Enough? That will be wide, eye-opening to you to know how capable children are. So every culture gives more restriction or more leeway depending on their culture. A Japanese culture at age 2 and 3, there's a developmental things they do for their kids that we don't do. We ask them to go buy something at the grocery store all by themselves. 2 and 3, all by themselves. Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Can you see me?
Yeah.
Am I waving?
Yeah.
How cool. So, and it's not about the grocery. It's not about how the grocery is going to come home. It's not if the money is going to come back. It's about them understanding and knowing what they're capable of. That is, and you have to watch it. It's hilarious. But first, I was holding my breath. There's no way I would do that to my daughter, right? Yet, they do it. And this is not around the corner. They're taking buses. They're walking 2 or 3 miles to go get this stuff with a map and money and a 1 or 2 item list. That's it. And all of them do it. And you can see how proud they get, how capable, they're part of the family, they're contributing, they're helping. We do way too much. And I'm guilty of charges. I'm still bringing food to my daughter in her bedroom. So, having said I'm not perfect.